Welcome back to another episode of 6th grade math. So today we are specifically talking about dividing fractions, and there is one strategy that we have to remember for dividing fractions. Some of you might have heard of it already. It is keep, change, flip, or KCF. So again, the K stands for keep, the C is change, and the F is for flip. Keep, change, flip. And again, this is for when we divide fractions. So dividing, hopefully we know, looks like a division symbol. So when we do that, we also need to talk about the word reciprocal. A reciprocal, say that for me, reciprocal. Reciprocal is just a fancy word that means to flip. So that's what that F is. That's our reciprocal. Reciprocal. Okay, so let's practice some reciprocals right here. So all of these fractions, they want us to flip. So that means instead of 4 over 7, we are literally just going to write 7 over 4. So the reciprocal of 4 over 7 is 7 over 4. So the reciprocal of 2/3 would be 3 over 2. The reciprocal of 6 over 10 is 10 over 6. And lastly, the reciprocal of this would be 15 over 12. You literally just take the numbers and switch them. And again, this is only when we do keep, change, flip. So let's solve some problems. So in the first one, notice we have a division symbol. Right here, it says divide, and I have two fractions. So this is dividing fractions. So what I'm going to do is I am going to draw a line and break this apart and put my KCF. So K, again, stands for keep. So I'm going to keep the first fraction the same. Stays exactly the same. I am going to C, which stands for change. I'm going to change division to multiplication. And then I am going to flip or find my reciprocal, which means I need to flip that second one and it becomes 7 over 4. Now that we have done that, we now have a multiplying fractions, and we know to solve that we do top times top, bottom times bottom. 3 times 7 is 21, and 10 times 4 is 40. And we are finished. So let's go to our next one and try the next one. So if I'm looking, I have another division sign with two fractions. So that means I am using keep, change, flip. So I'm going to break it apart. And my first thing is keep. So I'm going to leave 4 over 5. I am going to change division to multiplication. And we should know that dot means to multiply. And then I am going to flip my reciprocal and get 3 over 1. Now I'm multiplying top times top, bottom times bottom, and 4 times 3 is 12. 5 times 1 is 5. So this is an improper fraction, but since we don't have multiple choice, we're going to leave it just like that. So I know it looks kind of weird with the top number bigger. It's okay. So the next one, again, we're dividing, so I'm going to break it up and do my keep, change, flip. So keep my first fraction. Hopefully we're getting the hang of this. This is not difficult. We just have to remember keep, change, flip. Divide, change, so times, and then F for flip. So I get 2 over 1, and then we are going to multiply top times top, bottom times bottom. Again, we get 14 over 5, and that is okay. That is okay to leave it like that. All right, last one. We have 6, which is a whole number, and hopefully we remember whole numbers can be turned into fractions by putting them over 1. So first thing, whole numbers go over 1. Let's make that note to ourselves. We've already learned that. Whole numbers go over 1. So 6 is the same thing as 6 over 1. So we needed a fraction. So now I can do my keep, change, flip. So keep, 6 over 1 stays the same. I got change. I'm going to change division to multiplication. And my flip is going to be 5 over 3. And now I am multiplying, so I go top times top, bottom times bottom, which is 30 over 3. And that one will actually divide really nicely because the other two didn't really divide nicely. But if I think about this, 30 divided by 3 is 10. So that would be my answer there. All right, last one. So we actually have some answer choices. It says, which expression is equivalent to 4 over 5 divided by 1/3? So my keyword there is equivalent. Equivalent means equal. And I have a dividing fractions problem. So if we look at A, I have multiplication, B has division, C has multiplication. So let's look at the easy one to look at, which is B, because they both have division. So if it's going to be equivalent, it has to be exactly the same. But if I look, they switched this, but that's the only thing they switched. So B is definitely my Joe, because you can't just flip this and leave the division sign. So B is wrong. So A and C have multiplying, but if I want to do multiplication, I have to do the whole keep, change, flip for this to be equivalent, because essentially that's what they're wanting us to do. They're wanting us to keep, change, flip, but not solve. So my keep would be 4/5. I would change to multiplying, and then I would have to flip and get 3 over 1. And if I look at A, they did not flip, so that is wrong. They only changed the multiplication. C, they keep, they change, and they flip. So C would be my final answer, and I don't even have to solve. There is no top times top, bottom times bottom, because those two are indeed equivalent. So remember, dividing fractions, keep, change, flip.